As you guys can probably tell, my goal with this car is to build really a top spec, really nice Canyon track Alfa while still remaining true to the original design intent and stuff. And if we look in here, with the exception of the door panels, which I have but just aren't on yet, still waiting on those latches, something that stands out to me as not really nice is the lack of a steering column shroud. So we're going to remedy that, but because I'm not running the stock ignition switch and I have my own steering hub adapter and stuff, again, it's got to be a custom part to really look right and fit right. So I'm going to take you through what that process looks like to tackle this problem and come up with a nice result. I started by just taking caliper measurements of the column shroud and the surrounding areas. It's one of those things where it's not really worth 3D scanning with markers and scanning powder and all that because it's not that complex. So then went into CAD. This shows a little bit about the modeling process, what that looks like, designing it for 3D printing, but also for assembly. And it's not quite as straightforward as it looks. I did go through like 3 or 4 prototypes to get the fit just right, and I'll show you those and show you the final result. So here those prototypes are next to my dyno numbers to keep me motivated, but really subtle differences, subtle iterative changes. The first one honestly would have worked, but I like things perfect and I really want it to hug the column and the stalk and everything in there tightly, packaged well. So this is what I hope is the final one. I haven't tried it yet, but it should work. I have these 4 bosses for screws to hold it together. Let's see if it fits. I don't know about you, but I would call that better than OEM. Really a pretty perfect fit. Super clean all around. It hides the original keyed ignition socket and stalk and wiring real well. And it was worth the effort. Or maybe it wasn't, but for me, there's no choice but to get as close to perfect as I can. Just kind of guessing, there's probably 30 or 40 parts that I designed and fabricated for this car build. And you know, some are machined, some are cut and bent metal, some are 3D printed, but I wanted to provide a little bit of insight as to the thought and time that goes into every single one of those parts. So this shroud was just one example. The results are satisfying, but it's like it would never be worth it. Like, you know, if I look at what I charge for my client work and the amount of time I put into designing parts for this car, it wouldn't make sense. Even if you weren't paid much, it wouldn't make sense. So, you know, it's a long road to do a build like this, especially when you're not just doing, I mean, listen, if you're doing an OEM restoration, there's a lot there too, just with sourcing great parts and refurbing original parts. But when you're doing a lot of custom stuff and designing a purpose-built car to be what you envision, in this case, what I envision, and to make it the best version of that possible, there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I hope these videos are some insight there, and I hope you find them enjoyable, and I really appreciate your guys' support. More to come.